Well, hey there, my friends. It's Jennifer. This is Monday Fire, episode number 107. If you are watching this podcast, so I guess it is, you're not actually watching the podcast, watching the recording of the podcast on YouTube. I know I'm looking a little ragged. It is what it is, my friends. You do what you can with what you've got, right? And if you have been following our Instagram stories, you probably know that our life's been just a little bit topsy-turvy the last 12 days. So I am recording this on, what is today? July the 1st. Gosh, where did June even go? And my husband, Mr. Magic, Jason, was in a biking accident, a freak accident on the morning of Father's Day morning. And not going to go into all the details here. I have actually a highlight reel on my Instagram stories if you want to get caught up on that. But essentially, he was in a biking accident. He is like, I just let me set the stage here. He's not like out bicycling for leisure. My husband is an athlete. He's very in shape. He works out every single day, 29 out of the 30 days a month. He does bike. He's like top, 2% on Peloton every time. So my husband's a very strong, avid biker. And so essentially he hit some cable lines that were laying across a street in our neighborhood. It flipped his bike and he broke a hip, which, really stinks. There's no way to sugarcoat that. In addition, because there's lots of things in our life that I don't share on social media. I don't share because either the timing is not appropriate, or it's not my story to share, or I'm not ready to share, or there's just things that we want to keep just for our family, right? And so one of the things that I had not, I don't think shared on social media is that my father-in-law has been very ill with some complications. Number one, he's getting older. He's 77, but he has Parkinson's. So there's some complications for that. He's had Parkinson's for a couple of years now. And so Jason was very close to his father. His dad was the best man in our wedding, which is not very traditional, right? But precious. I need to post that sometime on Instagram. And so Jason's father was in the same hospital as my husband. Jason was not able to have any visitors in the hospital. I was unable to go see him. He went through surgery completely alone, woke up completely alone. And it's been a rough 12 days, guys. It's been really rough. And so I am today, Jason's down sitting with his father in hospice right now. And I wanted to give them just a little bit of time, and I needed to just do a little bit of work. Thank you, Lord, for a team who, has been taking over. I mean, literally, thank you, Jesus. And really cleared my calendar, done things for me, taken care of questions in the mastermind that I run and things for the last week and this. But today I wanted to do a podcast, and we had a different topic on the calendar. And I'm like, you know what? It didn't feel like authentic to talk about that. So I wanted to talk about like, how do you like balance business, or what do you do in your business when your life is chaotic? Like when your life goes into full blown chaos and the wheels have fallen off the bus and everything is just, a hot stinking mess. Like, what do you do? And I've had several of you actually send me that in my DMs, and I have not been real good at answering my Facebook or Instagram DMs the last 2 weeks because I'm putting my priority where it needs to be. And so I will be back to posting more and, trying to respond to you when I can. But for now, I just got to focus on who needs me and what my responsibilities are and who I have committed to, being with and loving and supporting. So that means my family gets the majority of me right now, and work has to wait. So the question that a lot of you have asked is, so how do you do that? How are you able to step away from work? How are you able to still come back now? And like, I did one coaching call for my mastermind this week. I've tried to answer a few Voxers. We're in the middle of planning something very exciting for you guys in September that I can't wait to tell you about, something we've never done here at Team Allwood. And I'm super stoked. We have a product launch coming. Like, there's a lot going on at work, right? So people have been saying, okay, how do you balance life when, the wheels fall off the bus, when everything is in chaos? So I wanted to give you a couple of really practical points. I've written these out. My team helped me kind of put these together, and I've added a couple thoughts. We're in the middle of it. And the truth is, in the Bible, it says that in this world, you will have trouble, but take heart. I've overcome the world. That's what the Bible says. It's in John 16:33, I believe. And basically God says, look, there's going to be seasons where the wheels fall off the bus. And so, if you're not in a season of wheels falling off the bus, like enjoy that, right? Because I don't like this when people say things like, well, when it rains, it pours, and like tragedies come in threes. Like, I don't like that stuff. I don't like it. I don't subscribe to it, but I do take the Bible. I believe what it says to be true. And if God says in this world, you will have trouble, my paraphrasing of that is we're all going to have seasons where it's just chaotic and things aren't going the way we want to. And there's heartache and it's hard. And so, the Bible says, take heart, but I've overcome the world. And so that means stay encouraged. It's going to turn out okay. We actually know how the story ends. But on a very practical level, like what does that look like, especially if the wheels are falling off the bus and you're a business owner? So I wanted to give you just a couple of real quick pointers. Okay. So first, you need to give yourself a whole lot of grace when you're in a season of just needing to manage maybe what's right in front of you. When the rug kind of is pulled out from under you and, things at life need your attention, give yourself so much grace. One of the reasons I think that I am so passionate about teaching women how to be able to leverage social media to make more money in their businesses is so that they are able to not have to still do all the things when other things need them. Like I cringe right now thinking, oh my gosh, if Jason still worked, in corporate America, like what would that look like right now? Because he's got, rehab for months right now. we're on day 12 of a hospital bed in my living room. I haven't slept with my husband in 12 nights. It stinks. I hate it. We've got appointments and chiropractor massage. Like there's lots coming up, guys. And I think I cringe at the thought of what if he was still in corporate, or what if I was, or what if we hadn't been able to, stockpile funds? And I want to make sure that you are in a position where you're able to do that if you're a business owner. But if you're in a position right now where you don't have all that to fall back on and the wheels have fallen off the bus and you just happen to be catching this podcast, just give yourself grace. Okay. These are hard seasons, and sometimes all you can do is focus on what is in front of you. And if that means you just put an autoresponder on your email and you're like, look, we've got, some crisis going on at home right now. My family needs me. I'll be back for your orders, in a couple of weeks or whatever. You'd be shocked. Your clients will respect that and honor that and be really gracious with that. I am so just blown over by my mastermind clients in particular who, we just, we're what, 2 or 3 weeks into the mastermind and this happens. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible timing. They've been fabulous. They have been loving. They have sent such great sentiments. They've sent things in the mail. They have been just fabulous. And people understand. You want to know why people understand? Well, at least the right people will understand, because they know they don't get out of this world without seasons of the wheels falling off the bus too. And they've probably been through a season before. And so people have a lot more grace for you than you probably think. So have some grace for yourself. Okay. Don't put a whole lot of pressure on yourself to do more than what you're able to handle when life is falling apart. Do in your business only what you have to keep things above water, and the rest of it, let it fall off. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, be preparing now though, because if you're in a season where things are good and they're hunky dory and you're not in the middle of a fiery furnace, be prepping now. That means putting things into place. That means hiring people. That means having standard operating procedures. If you do have people that work for you who are able to jump in so that people can jump in and take over things for you. If you are still a solopreneur, man, it's hard. It is really hard to go through difficult seasons outside of business when you are the only one in your business. Even just having a VA who could still send out emails, who could still check for orders, who could still manage, your social media or whatever in times of crisis is super helpful. Get to a place where you have some help in your business. Be preparing now because, and it's nothing to be scared of. It's life, you guys, it's life. The majority of us have, kids or parents or spouses or one of the three or all of the three. And, we've all got our own emotional journeys and spiritual journeys and physical journeys, and none of us are getting any younger. And things happen. And so give yourself grace, but be preparing now. Number three, learn how to ask for help. I've gotten better at that. I thought I was really good at this. But even just having to, reach out just to a girl whose son is going to the same summer camp that Ari is this summer. And I was like, is there any way you can pick her up tomorrow? Because I've got 2 kids at church camp and one has something going on and I don't want to leave Jason, just for 30 minutes to take her. And, just making an ask, you'd be shocked. Now, listen, if you are listening to this and you are not somebody that currently has, a crisis going on or a hard season going on, but somebody who does, the biggest gift to me during these last 2 weeks has been the people that didn't say, let me know what you need. Because I don't know what I need. I don't know. I've never had a husband with a broken hip and a father-in-law who's on hospice. I've never had that. There's just a lot, right? So I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And so I don't know what I need. The biggest gift to me has been the people who have just said, let me do XYZ. Let me come get Ari every evening this week. Let me just pick her up and take her to church to give you a few hours alone. Let me come over and help you get Jason's meds. The medications were one of the very most overwhelming things to me. Like, I can run a multi-million-dollar a year business. I can't figure out when I need to give you Tylenol and narcotics and everything else. Like, the meds to me, mind blowing. My best friend helped, like, she went and got one of those things where you put all the different pills in. Like, that has been the biggest gift. Somebody putting together a meal train for me. Somebody, just like kind of taking charge, but saying to someone, if you need anything for real, Jen, like, let me know. I'm looking at them and I'm smiling and I'm thinking, okay, but that it's not registering. Does that make sense? So, if you are the person like me, who's kind of, you're going through it right now, learn how to ask for help. Specific things you need. Hey, I need somebody to pick up the kids. I just need somebody to stop and get XYZ at the grocery store. And don't be afraid to ask, because the truth is people genuinely want to help and serve, but they often don't know what to do. So if you do know what to do, if you do look at somebody's life and you can see that they're going through some stuff. I did have somebody in my DMs. Gosh, I wish I had pulled this up for my notes. She said that she has learned to ask people, if I could do anything right now, it would be blank, or asking them, if you could take anything off your plate right now, what would it be? And those are the areas that she tries to help people at. So, I think that she had a best friend or something who was going through some medical things. And so she said, I just learned to ask her, what do you need me to take off your plate? If you could take anything off your plate, what would it look like? And then that's where she has jumped in. So ask for help if you're in the middle of it. Specifically tell people how you want to help them if you're on the other side of it. And the last thing is, and I'm going to tiptoe into this part of the conversation, hoping for just so much grace, because, as my audience gets bigger, rarely does anybody come at me about anything I put on my podcast. I actually don't get that, but I'm sure I'm about to word this really wrong. And some therapist somewhere is going to have a heyday with it, or somebody's going to take my words wrong and twist it. So just give me grace here as I try to explain this. Okay. So cope if you're in the middle of things. If you've got a lot of chaos, it's a hard season. Cope in whatever way you need to for the moment. Okay. So I'm not encouraging any unhealthy ways, of course. However, work for me is a great distraction. And so I'm recording this podcast today because it's a great distraction. Jason and I, we are currently in the middle of a contract for a vacation home in Florida right now. Seems like horrible timing, right? But also great distraction. And here's why, for some of you business owners, you almost sometimes need some of those great distractions. Again, I'm sure a therapist somewhere is going to have a heyday with this, but a lot of you business owners, you are very good at what you do, right? So you're really good at what you do, and you understand that part of life, of business. You have figured out how to run a business. You've figured out all the things. You feel like you're very kind of control in that area, right? You've got that down. And then if you go through a hard season, like what we are currently in, it's like a double whammy. It's like what on earth is just happening? And when you are used to someone who's calling the shots, you feel like you're in control. You're very good at what you do. You understand your business. And then you get into a season that is very vulnerable and everything feels out of control. You've never been here before. You don't know what to do. It's a very It's not a good feeling. I can't help my husband physically feel better right now. Can I bring him his crutches? Can I give him his pain meds? Of course. Can I, help him bathe and all things? Like, of course, like I can do practical things, right? But I can't do the healing for him. I can't mentally like fight the battle for him. I can't do any of that for him. And that stinks as his wife, who apparently I like control more than I thought I did. I can't help the situation with my father-in-law. It stinks. I mean, we can try to be there with him and sit in the presence of the room, and they, had a fabulous ceremony yesterday. Like, we can do that sort of stuff, of course, but it's out of my control. And when you're someone who likes control and everything's out of control, we will instinctively try to grab for the things that we feel like we have some control over. So if you are in the middle of chaos and crisis, I'm not suggesting that you throw yourself into work in the least. But if you have things that are perhaps a good distraction for just a little bit of time, because you don't want to be distracted all the time, you need to be in it. You need to feel all the emotions, because not being in it and not feeling the emotions is going to lead you and take you to a place you don't want to go to. At some point, you're going to have to deal, right? So I'm trying to deal with all the emotions in real time, but also, doing a podcast right now, great distraction. This is something I'm good at. What do I understand? I understand business. What do I understand? I understand women. What would I do if nobody ever paid me again, another dime ever? I would encourage women. It's just, I can't not do that. I know how to do this. I know how to make money. I know how to run a business. Like, this feels good when everything else feels like I can't, I don't know. Does that make sense? So I'm not encouraging you to be a knucklehead. I'm not encouraging you to, when your family needs you, work. I'm not encouraging you to do anything of that. But we all have different ways that we cope with things. And it's easy for some of us to judge how other people are coping, right? And the truth of the matter is, I think it's easy to judge. And then I think when you're in the middle of some things, we just need to have more grace for one another. We need more grace. And so, if you are someone like me and you understand work, you're good at work, but you don't know this new season you're in, it will be tempting to overgrab and take care of the things that you can take care of. And that's not good, right? But you also have to do some things to kind of keep yourself above water when you feel like you're going under. And so if there's a way that you can almost use work in a way as a life raft, or purchasing, a condo in Florida right now as a life raft, or still talking about, my 50th birthday and our plans to still travel as a life raft, like, use your life rafts when you need them. Does that make sense? So hopefully I explained that in a really good way, but I just want to, be pretty raw and unplugged about what's kind of going on in our life at the moment, and not overshare, but also just not pretend it's not happening, and give you some maybe real practical tools for just preparing for hard seasons. Sometimes I think we can see them coming, when kids are going to maybe leave for college or whatever. Other times I think they just hit us out of nowhere, kind of like, what's going on with us. And so I want you to have some things in place in your business. I want you to be giving yourself grace, was number one. Number two, be preparing now for the hard stuff. Number three, ask for help, hire help, ask for help, hire help. And four, figure out, some coping mechanisms that are healthy and that have some boundaries, but that keep you above water. Hopefully that can help you to balance your business when life feels really chaotic. So I hope that this was a blessing to you today. And if so, would you mind just sharing this on Instagram? Would you tag me on it? If you've never went and left us a review on the podcast before and you wanted to do that, that would be hunky dory. If you're feeling froggy, I'd love that. We should be hitting 3.5 million downloads on this podcast soon. And that is fabulous. And we're honored and love that. And we'd also love it if you could leave us a review if you're somebody that listens regularly. So much love to you guys, much grace to you guys. The thing is that these seasons don't last forever, and nothing lasts forever, right? And so, joy comes in the morning. We're clinging to all the things that we know to be true. Jason's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. But things are just hard at the moment. And if things are hard for you too, I just would love to almost reach through this, video if you're watching on YouTube, or the podcast app if you're just listening, and just give you a big hug and say, look, I get it. And you're going to make it. We're all going to make it. All right. Much love to you. Bye-bye.